Aloha Maui, I'm Alakai Paleka. Aloha Maui is a podcast that is brought to you by Hawaii Community Foundation. You can find it on YouTube and you can find it at every platform you experience your podcast. Today we have members of the Hawaii Community Foundation Ohana, and they will share with us how the Hawaii Community Foundation has been instrumental in Maui before the fires, helping us with our housing shortage, how they helped as soon as the fires happened, and what are they continuing to do today. Hawaii Community Foundation, as explained to me, community givers paired with community doers. And this lovely young lady is the one that gave me this formula. Kehao.
Hi.
Do you remember saying that to me?
I do.
We are community givers and we put together community doers, right? Okay, so what's your whole name? Kehao Meyer. And you are, what's your rank, I guess, in the company?
Yeah. So Kehao Meyer,
Yes.
Senior Program Officer at the Hawaii Community Foundation.
That means you watch all the little babies, all the programs all over the nation of Hawaii, or is it United States? It's
No, just Hawaii.
Just Hawaii. And you have found people that kokua, that give community givers, and you have found programs, community events that are worthy of being invested in.
Correct. Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So before the fires, Maui was experiencing a housing shortage. So how did HCF, which we will now call Hawaii Community Foundation, how are they helping the Maui housing shortage?
Yeah, so we had the House Maui program. That was an initiative that was established, and they were working on regional planning and whatnot to help understand the best ways to bring more affordable housing to Maui. And it was a very complex conversation, but
How did you read my mind? Because, I was going to ask you, well, what's the number one problem? But you said it's complex.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of problems?
There's just a lot of, I guess you could say, issues happening at the same time, intersecting issues.
Mm-hmm.
I actually personally never got to work on the House Maui initiative.
Oh, really?
We had another team that was working on it, but they were, they responded to the fires, and one of those team members actually went over to the county, ended up at the planning office.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have somebody else on the couch that actually worked for the county, so she might know. Aloha.
Hi.
Your name?
I'm Keanu Lauhi.
Lauhi, that's like a Maui Electric family.
That's right, yes.
And they make the killer chicken heka.
That's right.
Tommy Lauhi, my friend and best buddy, love him. Helped me so many times with setting up community events.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, him and Ryan's dad, Bra. You guys are awesome. The Unions of Maui, mahalo for all the setup time. So, Keanu, you work for Hawaii Community Foundation now.
I do, yes. I'm the senior program director there.
Oh, so you make sure our programs are running smoothly.
I empower our people to make sure the programs are running smoothly.
You empower the people. Where did you used to work?
I worked for the County of Maui, and most recently I was the deputy managing director. Okay,
so the question remains, why is Maui experiencing a housing shortage? What's going on?
That's an excellent question, one that we look to examine through the House Maui initiative. Some of it is policy changes, right, that need to occur around affordable housing projects. Some of it is just infrastructure challenges, which we see, right, water availability, which, has been a big topic here in West Maui as well as throughout the island of Maui. And so the House Maui initiative really looks to bring federal and state dollars to the County of Maui to support regional infrastructure that will help bring down the cost of affordable housing projects and make them accessible to our residents.
Okay, so that's what House Maui is doing.
We continue to do it. Our CEO and president, Mike Akane, who was here earlier.
He was here earlier.
He set a very aggressive goal for us to bring 3,000 units to market by 2027.
That's like very shortly.
That is correct. That's very shortly. But knowing that, over 3,000 units were lost in the fire, and we had a housing crisis prior to the fire, knowing these facts, bringing housing units to market is a really important step to prevent outmigration of our local people.
So of the 3,000 units, have we knocked any out?
We're getting close.
We're getting close. Okay. How? What programs have been implemented on Maui that helped with the fire victims?
Oh, well, it's a heavy question because we've had so many, right? So
Right.
in the last year, we've seen over 650 applications come through. We funded over 250, and we're working with over 200 nonprofits to support the recovery effort. So the kids are swimming in a very large pool.
Did you say 200
Yes.
nonprofits?
Yes.
You have to check the applications for 200 nonprofits? That's a lot.
It's
Because
a lot.
you need to make sure that Hawaii Community Foundation is accounting for every single penny
Correct.
that has been given to Maui Strong, House Maui.
Correct.
Because people are going to ask, I gave X amount of dollars, so where did it go?
Yeah.
What did it do? And you need to answer those questions.
I do. And so the really beautiful thing is when we built this program, we built it in a way that would allow us to build trust and relationship with the community organizations that we're investing in. Because we know that the community knows how to recover itself. So we're just empowering community programs and initiatives and ideas that were meeting the needs that were on the ground. Without us being prescriptive to say, you need to do this, we're asking the community, what do you need help with? And how can we help you do that? And so I would say about half of those are completed already, because a lot of that work that was funded early was for the immediate first month, second month of recovery.
Yeah, and a lot of us jumped to help.
Yes, oh yes.
But we were very careful in who the money was for. And Maui Strong was created
Yeah.
after the fire or before the fire?
So we have, Maui Strong was around during the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
and it helped fund a lot of food programs. But essentially, the response that we made was tailored to the fire response
Yeah.
that was needed.
Yeah.
And what that means is, I had the opportunity to build it with a value system that I personally wanted to give to the Maui community to make sure that they could trust the process. And so that included making sure that we had community voice centered, that we were talking to people on the ground, that we were calibrating information correctly, right? So no decision was made without multiple perspectives being brought to the table. And that way we knew that if I had to tell somebody, this is what we did, I would have no problem being able to explain why we made this decision or why we funded this and not that. Because at the end of the day, Maui was with us in every decision we made.
That, I want to be politically correct here, or I want to be true. You can account for the dollars that were spent because you know where they went and you know why they went there, and you vetted is she made sure you investigated and found out about more than 200 nonprofits.
Yes.
To make sure that the money was not wasted at Maui Strong.
And what helps is that we actually were running grant programs in Maui before. So for the last 5.5 years, I have been managing the Fred Baldwin Memorial Foundation, which serves Maui Nui.
Yes.
And so when the fires happened, it was the perfect intersection of experience, at least for me.
Yeah.
Because I have ohana on Maui.
Yes,
my
you
parents live in
do.
Kula. I have cousins across the island, a lot of friends in paddling. So the accountability is already built in for that. But I also had experience with Maui nonprofits. And so when people came through asking, I could say, I've worked with them before. I worked with a bunch of them through the pandemic, a bunch of them through their own programs. And so that made the process a lot easier because I had existing relationships, right?
Okay.
But if we didn't know them, we called around. We asked people on the ground, hey, do you know this person? Are they doing what they're doing? Because everyone's going to say, oh, we're working with Uncle Archie, but Uncle Archie's on the news every day.
Right.
So we would call, we would double check. I would send text messages, phone calls, hey, does anybody know this group? Are they on the ground? And honestly, I think that worked out. Everybody that got funded within the first month or two got a phone call by at least one or two staff members.
Wow,
directly.
that's amazing that
yeah.
you guys have the time and energy to do that. Really, that's a lot of calling each and every day.
It's a lot.
Right.
But we made ourselves available. It was the least we could do.
Thank you very much for helping our community. So, Kehao, if you have 200 nonprofits, how do people get in contact with you, or do they contact Hawaii Community Foundation, or how do they get in touch with these nonprofits because they have a problem? Do they call you, or do they call the nonprofits?
So it's a joint effort, right? So if they don't know that they can see, well, our website has a full list of everyone we fund. And
there you go.
And a full paragraph description of what the program is and a link. But if people can't find that, we actually just launched a website called strongerhawaii.org. And it's our commitment to disaster response and communicating and amplifying resources. And so we did put a bunch of resources that we found really relevant right now. That's front page accessible. It helps connect people to the nonprofits. But ultimately, the nonprofits are committed to doing outreach as well and making sure that their work is known and accessible to the community that they're serving.
And I do understand that, there were fires in Kihei, there were fires in Kula, there were fires in Lahaina, but if you don't live in Lahaina, you might not care.
Yeah.
You might be in Honoka'a, Pahala, and you don't have access to health care. So can we go to your HCF website and look up, I need health care in Ka'u?
So right now, that website that I mentioned is resources unique to disaster response. But if people are looking for resources wherever they live, a really great resource is 211. And that's an organization or a program led by the Aloha United Way.
Oh,
and
right,
so it's essentially a hub. So people can call 211, or they can go online and search according to their zip code, and they can find more information. So 211 is also another place where a lot of our nonprofits are putting information about what they're offering right now.
Thank you, but I'd rather talk to you because you're so sweet. But thank you just for unveiling those resources.
Yeah, but if people can call us all the time, and they
Okay.
can, and we we'll give them all of the suite of options.
Thank you. Ke'anu, Kehao, on behalf of myself and everybody who has come into contact with this podcast, thank you. And thank you to your boss for Hawaii Community Foundation for bringing forth this podcast that is available at every podcast platform you use. Talk Aloha Maui, it's available on YouTube, and it is brought to you by Hawaii Community Foundation. Aloha Maui. Welcome back to Aloha Maui, brought to you by the Hawaii Community Foundation. My name is Alakai, and my worst subject in school was math. Thus, I'm not real good with finances, banking, mortgage, insurance, all the hard things in life. But our next two guests will educate me today as we talk about the housing shortage that is prevalent on Maui. I mean, everybody wants to live on Maui. It's a beautiful place. It's not really big, like Hawaii Island is big, so everything's 2 hours away. But on Maui, everything's 5 minutes away. So the people are awesome. The food is delicious. Everybody wants to live on Maui. And this next young man was not offended when I asked him, are you in a reggae band? Jeff Gilbreth?
That's right.
Did I say that correct?
You did good, yeah.
You have such pretty eyes too, like Billie Eilish eyes.
Oh,
You are
thank you.
so easy to look at. So, you're in charge of Hawaii Community Lending. What does in charge mean? You could be the president, the CEO, the executive director. What's your title?
Yeah, the last one there, executive director.
Executive director. Hawaii Community Lending. I thought it was a bank, but apparently that's not what we are.
Yeah, what we are is a community loan fund or community lending institution. So, you know how banks and credit unions have all kinds of rules,
Yes.
all kinds of hoops you have to jump through?
Yes.
We have the benefit of saying, we don't need to do any of those hoops. Come in, talk story, let's figure out what your issue is, and maybe we can get you a loan that's at good interest.
So, who gave you the money in the beginning to become the Hawaii Community Lending entity?
It's interesting. Actually, we started with a $20,000 grant from Office of Hawaiian Affairs. And since that time, we've grown to close to $20 million from the federal government, USDA, a government agency, state, county, Hawaii Community Foundation, and other philanthropy and individuals.
I can't even tell you how many times that is. 20,000 to 20 million. You know how many zeros difference that is?
It's big. Took a decade, but we're there.
Where are you from? How did you create this miracle, Jeff?
Hawaii Community Lending has been around and was founded in the Paukukalo homestead by Kehau, Philly Moiatu,
yes.
and Blossom Feitera.
Be quiet. I went to their class.
Yeah, exactly. So they created Hawaiian Community Assets, which does all the education,
Right.
all the counseling, and then they can hand them over to us, who does all the loans, all the grants to help folks either build, buy, or save their homes from foreclosure on Hawaiian homelands.
And guess what? I own Hawaiian homes now.
I heard that. And you only paying what?
4%.
4% interest. It seems like without your math background, you did pretty good.
I've been blessed by Keakua, who puts these things in my trail. Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah.
When did Hawaii Community Lending start?
So we started in 2002 under Hawaiian Community Assets, and we started out doing mortgages for families on
Yes.
Hawaiian homelands, including families in the Leali'i homestead in Lahaina, helping them get their chance at home ownership, but across the state. And those 22 years in between the beginning and now, we've served families close to 4,000 to help them get into home ownership opportunities or to prevent foreclosure to stay on the INA so they don't get kicked out.
What's your education like, Jeff?
I don't have any education in economics or finance. I was a creative writing major, but I was schooled when I worked in a grocery store that my mom and dad owned, and my 6 brothers and sisters and I worked in that grocery store from the age of 10 till I went off to college, and that's my formal finance background, was actually working in that grocery store.
I am just amazed. But it seems like you care. You care about people not getting kicked off their Hawaiian homestead. You care that they're going to be living in safe environments. But you also got to care that they can pay their loan back. So how do you, without revealing any trade secrets, how do you make sure somebody's credit worthy to pay back the loan that they borrowed from you, from your Hawaii Community Lending?
It's all relationship. So we consider ourselves a relationship lender. So important thing is just starting off with a conversation, just talking story. What's your needs? How's your family? What do you have going on? And from there, really looking at the folks' finances to see what's an affordable payment, and then working the loan from there. So not saying, oh, you qualify for this big amount, and for a monthly payment you can never afford, right? Instead, we go the other way and say, what can you afford? What you got going on? How can we help? And so we build that relationship first, so that by the time the family starts paying into that loan, it's like it's your auntie, it's your uncle, it's your brother, it's your sister. It's the same sort of feeling. So we don't have to worry about them not paying back. It's just a matter of, hey, you get into trouble, give us a call. We figure it out.
Well, we have Kehau with us, and she's representing Hawaii Community Foundation. Are you guys working with Hawaii Community Lending?
Absolutely. And for a long time. We've had a really great working relationship for a very long time. And that's why I think they've been such a successful program that we're able to fund, because the relationship is also present in the grant making, not just in their operations to the community.
See, I think he's a nice guy, just by talking to him.
He's very nice.
Personally, I think he's a nice guy. But then you said in the previous section, you have a value system you work by. Can you refresh our memory on what your values are, and then we can check them off with Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, it's, being authentic, meeting people where they're at, prioritizing the community, and just making sure that, you're humans first, right? So humanize the experience and think about, what are they going through and how can we make this easier for them to help their community?
I think he checked off all the boxes.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's from working in his parents' grocery store with, is it total 6 children or just 6 siblings?
6 siblings.
Like, brah.
And I was the second to youngest, right? So I got pushed around enough, and some good work done.
What important messages do you want to share with Hawaiian homes, people that are looking for loans? Why should they come to Hawaii Community Lending? How can we help? Because Maui, everybody wants to live on Maui. People are willing to spend millions of dollars to live here. How do we help the person that was born and raised here own a home?
Exactly. I think the first step is that folks shouldn't disqualify themselves. Like, not think, no can, feeling like there's no chance, there's no hope. It's hard, but there is chance. There is opportunity. And the thing that we always say is, we don't say no, we say how. And that starts with the conversation with the family, figuring out what they need. And what I would say is Hawaiian Homelands right now is getting pretty aggressive on their development schedule. Like, they are putting homes or planning homes. Now is the time for families to come see us. Now is the time to get qualified, so in 2, 3, 4 years when those homes are ready, the families can move into that. Because what we've seen is these opportunities come up from Hawaiian Homelands, but families didn't have the time to get ready. Right. And so you're waiting 30, 40 years, and then your name gets called, and they have to pass you by. It's devastating, right? So best chance is come see us as soon as possible. We'll start taking you through the process. You're probably going to be working with someone who you know or lives in your community. We have staff
Pono
across
was
the
my
state.
worker.
Oh yeah, Pono. You know. Oh yes, I love Pono.
So what projects are you guys doing on Maui? HCF, so many alphabets. Hawaii Community Foundation, Hawaii Community Lending. Are you guys working in conjunction for any?
Yes, so
Housing?
we actually funded them early to support Leali'i first. It was a pilot to kind of see how we could help the Leali'i homesteaders that were affected by the fires. It was so successful that Jeff them came back and said, I think we can do this for everybody, owner occupants. We think we can help them too, right? And so we made a large investment with Maui Strong Fund dollars so that they could start the Lahaina homeowner recovery program.
That's it.
And it's been great. And one of the recent wins we've had is we're getting surveys done, and you can tell them about that.
Yeah, I think one of the major projects is that when the fire happened, all the property lines went away.
Oh.
Yeah. So nobody knows exactly where their lot is at.
Right. And the pins are long removed.
Exactly. And so that's a cost the family typically has to incur, about $6,000 to redraw those lines. So what we did is we went to Hawaii Community Foundation and said, what happens if we partner with surveyors here on Maui, put together 10 homes at a time? Can we do this and make it free for the families? And the answer is yes. So we're actually just launching this free lot survey program for owner-occupant homeowners who are living in their home prior to the fire, that if they come in and they enroll with us, we can help get the resources together to actually get those pins drawn, the property lines done, so now the family can get to the point of rebuild. Because you need to do that before you start rebuilding. You got to redraw those lines.
This is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Hawaii Community Lending available on all islands of Hawaii or just Maui?
No, we're statewide.
Statewide?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're the executive director of the state organization?
I am, but I'm definitely not the one who does all the work. So I've got 38 staff who are committed and passionate. And in Lahaina, they are families from Leali'i. They are homeowners who also had their homes destroyed. So I don't joke when I say, when you come into our organization, you probably know someone that lives in your neighborhood, and can help you through that process, because it's scary, right? There's a lot of shame around finance, and there doesn't need to be, but it's easier when you come into someone like us and not into maybe like a bank or a credit union that not as comfortable.
You can have all my money.
Well, you keep your money. I keep that awesome 4% mortgage going.
Is there anything else that you would like to let the world know that Hawaii Community Lending does besides Hawaiian Homes? And you do more than Hawaiian Homes, right?
So, I mean, we do help all local families get to the point of purchasing a home, and we do that with different products. So, example is we have a debt consolidation loan that anybody can come in and get. We see a lot of folks, ran up credit card debt because of COVID and inflation, and now need a little bit of help. So that loan can help wrap all of your debt together and make it one affordable payment, so you're more likely to get the mortgage. So that's everybody. But we're also doing a program here in Maui. It's a deferred payment loan up to $200,000. We're administering it for the county of Maui, and it's 0% interest as long as you're a qualified resident who's lived here for at least 2 years, works and lives in Maui, and you're under a certain income. But the tool, why we're providing this product is because, yes, infrastructure is a necessary, it's a critical need for housing, but a bigger need is subsidies to families, getting dollars to home buyers and local families, Hawaiian families, who deserve a chance at home ownership, but can't afford a $1.5 million home without some support, right? And so that's an example of something we're doing with Maui County. We're also doing it with Hawaii County. We did write the Maui housing plan for the county that it's been implemented pieces here and there. But that's a little bit of the work we do outside of Hawaiian Homelands.
Wow. You have seen Alakai get educated in this brief part of our episode. Kehau, anything else that I need to know from Hawaii Community Foundation about financial literacy and what it takes to own a home in Maui? And I don't mean a home that we can turn around and flip and sell for $1 million. How do we make sure that people stay? You say you want a home and you're going to stay in that home. How do we make sure, or, how do we choose the right people for these programs?
Yeah, at the end of the day, there are a lot of resources out there. The new word of the day is CDFI, right? We were just talking about that, Community Development Financial Institutions. There are many of them across the state. Some of them are credit unions, right?
Yep.
And these organizations pair education with the products. So if you don't know where to start, I would always recommend starting there.
Okay.
And especially with this recovery, I would say that the recovery, like the best thing someone told me in disaster response is that the recovery will move at the speed of trust, right? And so
you have such a great quotes, girl.
I stole it from somebody else.
Trust. What
recovery moves at the speed of trust.
Recovery moves at the speed of trust. It's like community givers and community doers. Trust moves. Girl, you get the good quotes, I tell you. You got to write them down.
But the reality is we trust Jeff. We trust the team. He's trusting his staff to be trauma informed to work with these families, and we just hope that the community can build trust, and they at their own pace, with these organizations, with these programs that have very good intentions and really good outcomes.
It starts at the top, though. Like you sing Micah's praises, and he lets you do what you want to do. You're his boss, though.
I manage up.
Kind of.
Yeah.
And then, like with Jeff, I'd follow Jeff. I would learn algebra again if I had to, because you find there's a certain level of trust for nice people.
Yeah.
Honest, nice people.
Yeah.
And thank you for being that person, Jeff. I
you.
appreciate you and the work you do. And Kehau knows already how I feel about her. And Hawaii Community Foundation. Thank you for inspiring us to financial literacy This is just the episode that inspires us to get out there and clean up our credit and talk to Jeff and do that financial literacy class and make sure that we have a little bit of money saved for the down payment and do your work. This is not just a talk story. This was a do your homework kind of episode. And we thank Hawaii Community Foundation for bringing these guests to us today. Talk Aloha Maui is available at every place you find your podcast. We look really good on YouTube. But I, Alakai Paleka, would like to say mahalo to the Hawaii Community Foundation for this episode. Make sure you check out all of them on YouTube.